Now to Virginia, where 1 week from today we'll know whether voters have cleared the way to redraw congressional districts in Democrats' favor. It's an effort Democrats say would counter President Trump's push for Republican states to create more GOP-friendly districts before this year's midterms. While we expect to see voters head to the polls next Tuesday, nearly 1 million votes have already been cast. These numbers already outpacing last year's gubernatorial election. It's an important election that lawmakers across the country will be keeping a close eye on. Joining us tonight to discuss the implications is political analyst and University of Mary Washington professor Stephen Farnsworth. Stephen, thanks for taking time with us. We appreciate it. What do these numbers tell us about who's turning out to vote so far? And what could that tell us about the fate of this constitutional amendment?
Right. So what we know from the polling is that the overall feelings about this amendment are pretty close to 50-50 right now. It's a significant decline compared to the huge margin that the governor had during her election last November. The early voting numbers suggest a lot of motivated people showing up early on. There are some early voting numbers that are very good in red counties, and there are some numbers that are very good in blue counties. So all indications are we are looking at a pretty close contest right now.
Well, as you mentioned, plenty of people casting their ballots despite flyers and mailers that seem designed to confuse them. What have you heard from advocates on both sides of the measure? Does the average voter really understand the question on the ballot?
Well, I think that what both sides are trying to do is put forward a simple message that brings forward an emotional response from a potential voter. Remember, this isn't a time people usually vote in Virginia, so you want to get people to turn out. On the pro side, the argument is all about President Trump. This is something that Democrats or advocates of this message are saying is that this was a dynamic where Donald Trump started things with Texas, and Virginia can finish them by responding to Trump by voting in favor of it. On the no side, the argument is that Virginia just passed a constitutional amendment to take the line drawing power away from elected officials, and now people want to go back to that. That's a significant emotional reaction on both sides. That's the strategy going forward.
So is there any specific region to watch that could help Republicans and the efforts to defeat this amendment?
Well, the key areas to watch in Virginia politics are always the suburbs, particularly the outer ring suburbs. The further you get from the city of Richmond or Virginia Beach or from D.C., the more contestable that space is. So if you're thinking about, say, Loudoun County, for example, in our region, that's a key place to go to look at this. One of the things that the line drawing plan involves, which if estimates are in place, suggests that there's a very, very divided Northern Virginia element here. You have a whole series of congressional districts like strings of spaghetti stretching out from D.C. and sometimes hundreds of miles away from the capital.
Interesting. All right. Political analyst and University of Mary Washington professor Stephen Farnsworth, thanks for sharing your insights with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.